Hey y'all! So for my classroom tour, it's going to look a little bit different because I teach fully virtually and we do meet on Zoom synchronously 4 days a week. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of what my virtual class looks like. To start out, every day when my students come in, they see a slide that looks like this. I always have our announcements and reminders, so you can think of those things that we usually would come over an intercom or would be shared during like a homeroom class. I keep those announcements and reminders not only for my specific class, but anything else that may affect my students, whether it be school, like whole school specific, or in this case, social studies was asynchronous. They needed to know that that teacher would not be on Zoom that day and they needed to do some async work. I always have a space for shout outs, reminders about my students having their cameras on and being visible, using their class time wisely. Just have the date up in the corner as well as the warm up. So as students come into class, I have this up on the screen. I'm throwing reminders in the Zoom chat, reminding them to put their answers to the warm up in the chat. And I usually have some just kind of like chill instrumental music playing for the first couple minutes as everyone joins the class. Once we go over announcements, reminders, our sparks or our shout outs, and our warm up, I'll share the progress tracker, which again, they have access to all the time on the link on our Canvas homepage, but I'll share the tracker and give them reminders of the Zoom rooms. So I'll utilize my breakout rooms, and so the tracker also lets them know, hey, if you're working on this lesson, you can go to this breakout room, and everyone in that breakout room will be working on the same lesson. So that's where they can have some of this organic collaboration with their peers or ask for help if they need it. And they can pop around to other breakout rooms if they want to talk with a student who might be able to help them on a specific assignment as well. So when we're in Zoom, I will have breakout rooms opened up. I'll always have the number of breakout rooms that are listed on the tracker, and then I'll have an extra breakout room that I just title with my name, and that's where I can have my one-on-one conferences or my small group instruction with learners, and I can physically just like assign them to that breakout room. When learners are in their own breakout rooms and they're working on things, if they need help with something or they need me, they can hit, there's an ask for help button within Zoom. They know that they can click that, and I usually keep like a notepad so that if I see those requests come up and I'm in the middle of helping someone else, I can jot their name down, kind of like the take a number aspect of, hey, I'll be with you as soon as I can, but I might be in the middle of helping someone else. But my learners know that if they get a request to go to a specific breakout room, they need to go to that specific room. And in my one class period where I have a co-teacher, she also gets her own breakout room where she can work with students and provide them help as well. One of the other resources that I use a lot with my class is Delta Math. So Delta Math is a math website. This is where I create a lot of my practice assignments, and they literally have content going from 6th grade all the way up through calculus and a little bit of computer science. And so when I'm looking for practice work, I can click here for linear relationships, and there's just a whole list of different topics. You can also search by specific standards. So I can search by general year topic. It's organized with algebra, geometry, algebra 2, which I use an integrated curriculum. So, you know, I can find topics that way, but a lot of times it's easier for me to go to my standards, find my state and my course, in this case 8th grade, and it will show me exactly what that state standard is and which lessons or which topics Delta Math contains that address that standard. And I can create those assignments right there in Delta Math. My students complete it virtually. I also have the ability to print them. I have some learners that for some scaffolding and additional practice, they really like to have those like kind of paper copies. They like to do it by hand. And so I can print those if I need to, or it would be great if I were in person and needed to have some things printed to get them off of devices if I need to. But this is just one of the really cool programs that I have access to, and because it has that alignment to the state standards, it also aligns well with Reveal Math, which also has that state standard alignment. And then finally, the last thing is my physical space. You can see I kind of I've had people ask me if I'm in a classroom. No, this is just my home office, but I have all these drawers behind me that have things that I might need to access really quickly. So I have all of my rosters from the year where I keep track of student attendance. I do keep paper rosters, and then I put the attendance into the PowerSchool platform that we have to use. But I like having my paper rosters because then as students join class, I can just quickly jot down, or I can have notes like they're disengaged or they did a really great job today. And that helps during caregiver conferences if I want to refer back to kind of work habits or engagement. I also have a couple of hardware tools that I use with my computer. So the first is a Wacom tablet. This is just a writing tablet. I have the kind that just direct connects to my computer. That's super helpful when I'm creating instructional videos or I'm working with learners, and I can annotate on my screen, and it feels a lot more natural because it's a pen, right? I can write with a pen on it. I'm not trying to use my mouse or trackpad. And then I also have multiple monitors. So I actually have 3 different screens, and that helps me stay organized because I can have my Zoom class up on one screen. I can have I call it my share screen. It's the only screen I use to share content with learners, and that way I know that I'm not going to accidentally share my email inbox or any other windows that I have open. And then my third screen is where I keep my email, my team messaging, and things like that up. And so those are the things that I use to help keep myself organized. And then our district also has a monitoring software that allows me to kind of see what's going on my learner screens. So that helps with some of the accountability. I can see, are they engaging with their learning? Are they trying to Google answers and things like that? So it can help cut down on the academic dishonesty that could be really easy to do in a virtual environment. But that's a little bit about kind of my classroom tour and how that works in my class, and how I use Zoom breakout rooms, kind of like flexible seating. It's flex breakout rooms.